Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for spending a few moments with me. My name is Mark, MD of Goodfoot, and these few moments I hope are useful. They're short but useful, I hope. Techniques for creative thinking. Why do we need to be good at creative thinking? And the answer is because we're driving for innovation. And creativity is a stage to get to innovation, of course. So we have problem analysis, situation analysis. We then generate a number of ideas, creativity. We then narrow the ideas down for selection, piloting, testing, and then we measure the full innovation process. But that bit in the middle is so crucial. We need a bunch of ideas to start with. The point about creativity is to generate a volume of ideas. And that means a lot of them are not going to be any good. So a lot of them are going to be pretty poor ideas. So the best thing to do is laugh about that en route. The more laughter, the more fun, the more ideas, the more free thinking people are, generate a good, happy atmosphere. And in these 4 techniques that I've got to show you now, if they don't work, fine, switch to the next one. Just try a technique, keep it going. If the energy dies in the meeting, switch to the next one. And here we go, finally. What do we all dread? We dread being in a meeting and somebody says, got any ideas? And that's where we all die a death, right? We all got looked down. we all wonder, oh my goodness, am I supposed to say, what am I supposed to say now? This is where the techniques come in. So, right, we're going to run 3 techniques today. We're going to take 15 minutes only, 5 minutes per technique, and see what we come up with. That's the kind of approach which will generate a volume of ideas. You can then start selecting. Here we go. The last one is my favorite, so let's jump into them now. The first one you've probably done many times, which is step into another's shoes. So get the team to think of the key people involved, the people affected, and from their perspective, what would they like? How do they see things from their perspective? How might the client see it? How might the client's client see it? How might people in the supply chain see it? How different people in the team see it? As we step into others' shoes, we get more insight into the way others might see something. We are all pretty good at doing that. If we want to do that, we can do that. And then we generate ideas from the perspectives of those groups. How would they see it? We're rushing through this quite quickly, so I'll stop there, move on to the next one. We won't have time in this session, unfortunately. I'd love to go through these with practice because it really bites with the practice. But let me be disciplined here and stick through and work through the techniques just in overview. Mind maps. Technique number 2, mind maps. Teams work brilliantly when they can see it all in one go. So get a whiteboard or use it on Teams or Zoom to use the whiteboards to draw mind mapped pictures of what is happening. Different colors, different symbols. Then what people tend to do is start to connect different bits of the mind map together to generate new ideas and new approaches. So just brain dump with a mind map. About 60% of people are visually minded, i.e. this does appeal to most people where they can see stuff happening. Let the team write what they want and then start discussing how could we combine these things that are on the mind map for a discussion for generating new ideas. Technique number 3, I love this one, is linking. And this is really good for the brain. This is starting with something that is totally unconnected with your issue and then using the attributes of that thing as a trigger for ideas. So let us take an example. What we want to do is improve our customer response time, and we need some ideas. How do we improve our response time? Have we got any ideas? Start with something unconnected. Well, let's start with a giraffe. I mean, that's pretty unconnected to this situation. Totally random, just came into my head. I love giraffes, by the way, but let's start with a giraffe. Then we write down the attributes of a giraffe, and we write down, it can move fast, it grazes at a high level, has a long neck. We write down all of the attributes. We have a lot of fun doing that. And then we use the attributes as a trigger for the ideas. As an example, a giraffe's got a long neck, it's got a long reach. It can reach things that other animals can't reach. So could we reach clients in a way that others aren't doing? That with the giraffe example, using his long neck, with us, is there a way that we can reach clients that are distant normally, but we can actually find a way to connect to them. What are the distant client groups, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and then the discussion goes away. The giraffe moves fast, actually. So maybe, moving fast. Let's use that. How can we move faster with our connections with clients and customers? And you see where it's going now. We have fun describing the giraffe. Then we take some crazy ideas from that and think, well, how does that apply to our problem that we're facing? And even more fun is the last technique called break the rules. People love this technique. It's great because you do what you're not supposed to do. We generate ideas on the opposite of what we want to achieve and then flip those ideas. So let's use a much more effective supply chain as an idea. How do we get better supply chain involvement, and how do we get the supply chain to respond quicker to us? Right. So firstly, what we do is we write down the opposite of what we want to achieve. This is where the laughter happens. Let's have a supply chain that ignores us. Let's have a supply chain that only communicates by writing. Let's have a supply chain that speaks in a completely different foreign language. Let's have a supply chain that doesn't use IT. And we'd write down all of these things, which are just crazy. And then it's ideas on how to achieve the opposite. How could we get a supply chain that doesn't use IT? Oh, we could have more voice conversations. That's what we could do. And then you say, that's a trigger. Maybe we need more conversations. So if you follow the rationale of what I've run through there, write down the opposite and have a lot of fun writing the opposite of what you want to achieve. We once did this with a team, and we're trying to improve car parking. And the car park ideas were hilarious, like park on top of each other, crash cars together. And then we could generate then ideas that said, well, okay, this is interesting, park cars on top of each other. Is there a way that we can actually do that? And you know the result of those kind of ideas, vertical parking stacks, et cetera, which you do get in some cities in America and increasingly in Europe. So you basically write down, I'm getting excited now, but you write down the opposite of what you want to achieve. Then the ideas about how to get it, and then think, actually, there's something in there. Maybe we could use that. 4 techniques. I'm just going to go back through them for us. So back to the beginning. Another's shoes. Think of things from other people's perspectives. Mind maps. Get the team to write things down visually. Linking. Write down something unconnected. Describe it and get ideas from it. Break the rules. Just try and figure out the opposite of what you want, and then pick up ideas about how to do that. So that's me done on that. A very quick overview of 4 techniques of creativity. I do apologize that in this time slot, there wasn't time to demo them and work them through and see where they go, but I think you've got the drift from that. Contact us at any time at Goodfoot, and thank you very, very much for listening. I hope there's something useful in there for you.